Hello fellow horror geeks, welcome back to cityofgeek.com presents 100 Days of Horror. I am Bob and I'm here to talk about my number 65 entry of this year, Castlevania Season 2. One thing with 100 Days of Horror, since you're watching 100 horror films we haven't seen in the days leading up to Halloween, is that everyone can take it in slightly different ways. Kim only does movies, Evan includes books in his. I did the first year, I included a book or two. But I include television. Some people break down television into like, oh, this is a movie length, this is a movie length, this is a movie length. I'm doing seasons for mine. I did all 3 seasons of Slasher earlier this year, Stranger Things 3, and Black Summer. So in this case, I took the 8 episodes of the second season of Castlevania as one whole bunch, and telling one story in that way. Now the first season I did as I think the 3rd entry 2 years back. I have that on my old channel, A Geek Named Bob, and I'll probably put the link there. It's awkward, it's a little awful, cutting is really weird. Still not the best at everything, but hey, what the hell. And a little stilted and weird because I'm still getting used to that, and 2 years later it's still kind of weird. Hey, it's a lot of weirdness. But the first season I really loved, as 4 episodes, kind of a prequel to the ultimate story, kind of setting up all the chess pieces to have the second season move forward with them. And was of course like an hour and 40 minutes, so it felt like one movie. In this case, this is 8 episodes, totaling a little over 3 hours, if I remember right. Just like the first season, this show was absolutely astounding. One of the best things Netflix put out, animation or movie or television wise. But this is based on Castlevania 3, one of the ones I played, but it doesn't really matter. You don't have to know a lot about the games coming in. It really stands on its own to set up this world, to set up this version of Dracula and the Belmonts and everything that goes along with that. This is written by Warren Ellis, mostly known for a lot of comic work, things that have been adapted from his comics, such as Iron Man Extremis became Iron Man 3, which is in its own little series at some point for another animated thing. Red, a bunch of stuff, but you can look him up, see what else he's worked on. And his adaptation is incredible, because this isn't just vampires versus people and a big action sequence. There's a lot of strong character work, a lot of really greatness to each of the characters, and a lot of build to that. Because Dracula isn't just a villain. Dracula isn't mustache twirling, I'm gonna eat all of humanity. He has a reason for what he does, and I think it's a lot the first season did, is really setting up as a sympathetic villain. He's doing villainous things, we know why. He got married, had a son out with a human woman, who he taught all about medicine, about the world, traveled the world with her, and decided to set up shop in a small village, and the church said, no, she's a witch, and killed her, thus pissing off Dracula when he was away. He comes back, finds his wife's dead, and he's fallen out with the son at this point, and says, alright, fuck it. My last link to humanity's gone, I'm gonna kill everyone. And so he starts working on that, and that's what the season 2 is. Dracula working on his plans with his lieutenants and generals and a couple other vampires, and a couple humans who also want to eradicate humanity for their own reasons. We get their backstories as he builds his army, builds his plan, as they come together and they bicker and they fight, but they ultimately... But as they bicker and fight, we find out their characters, and their dynamics are wonderful, because you're seeing a couple different points of view of why they want to fight humanity and what their methods are. So you have these differing, even within the villains, you have different traits and different forward motions and why they do it, and how their personalities clash in different ways based upon what they're looking for, what their histories are. So it really makes it fun to watch, even if it never went to the vampire battles. We have solid character work to watch as they grow. And on the human side, we have Trevor Belmont. He, Alucard, and Sypha all working together to create what they want to do, but this isn't just immediately going into battle. We spent actually maybe a little bit too long, but the first half of the show, maybe a little more than that, of this planning. The Belmont and his crew go to the old Belmont Library, which is really wonderful designs underneath the ground. It's got all sorts of steampunky stuff like how Castlevania 3 did. As they start to gather their lore and gather their ideas and train and learn from each other and grow together there to make their plans to work together. At the same time, Dracula is gathering his army and working on his plans. So these 2 parallel stories ultimately coming to the same end of what they're gonna do, and how they're gonna work on it. And does this take up probably about 5 of the 8 episodes. It's so well written and so well drawn. The animation is astounding. The voice acting is perfection. There's not a bad cast in there. So I appreciate them taking the time to move this chessboard together as everyone starts to come before the clash happens, and when things do break, both from within Dracula's castle and for the Belmonts arriving and doing what they need to do, it really pays it off. A lot of great setup to a wonderful payoff that really had me very happy sitting there watching it on my computer with a big smile on my face. I really like where it went, and it was really earned. Everything that happens, and some of the really kick-ass stuff that happens in the second to last episode is really earned. But it's ultimately earned from the great character work it's done. Alucard has his reasons with Dracula, and when they meet, there's really a lot of emotion there, and I was really drawn in from that. So while there may be a little bit too much setup and too much of that, it's all paid off just fine. I wouldn't really cut anything, even the fact that I'm saying that it takes a little while, because I was so drawn in by it. I really can't wait for season 3. Warren Ellis has now said that like season 3 is gonna be able to go in a completely different direction now that the story of Castlevania 3 is kind of played out. So look forward to seeing where it goes. They had wonderful world building within this that sets up so many different ideas, and we get so many more other vampires out there. We get bringing from other places like Carmela from her book and everything. We got the rich Belmont history. We know everything. We have everything that comes later in the Castlevania series of video games to pull from, and all its other work. There's a lot of areas that they can pull from now. Now we have this world set up and this first story arc done, because this continue forever. I would love it for it to continue forever, as long as it remains just as solid, because this is some of the best work that Netflix has done. So even if you don't know anything about Castlevania, and like, I don't know, it's a video game adaptation, go check it out. It's probably the best video game adaptation that there is. Wonderful voice acting, solid world building and character building, and great payoffs to everything that comes up. Castlevania is a series I wholly recommend. Like, comment, subscribe for the videos down here. For everyone else, so everything at work on for 100 Days of Horror, I'm doing these video reviews. Other people are doing the written stuff, so you can find that at the link below. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for speaking geek with us about Castlevania. Bye.